Jennie Kim, ladies and gentlemen. Jennie Kim is shining bright like a diamond. I'm rooting for her so much. She's been working so hard all this time since we know her in Blackpink, and now she didn't only have a couple of super hit songs, but also was recognized in the awards and won in the nominations. I'm gonna talk about this later. Let's go. Welcome to my diary channel. OMG Katrina is rhyming again, and here I don't rhyme but reflect, analyze great personalities, mostly from music industry, because I'm myself a musician and I adore this area. I'm now doing the editing part, and in the middle of my words that I am myself a musician and a songwriter, I was thinking, that must be some great advertisement, right? So why wouldn't I do an advertisement for myself? Because if you want to have a freaking ass hot jingle for your business like I did, yeah, you have seen it. Tell me what you think about that. If you want to have something like that, or you want to have some great song, maybe a hit song, who knows, feel free to contact me, yeah? Here, we never judge empty gossip or hate, but we think critically on whys and what's and how's and what improvements there can be. Just calmly watch and admire and be inspired by all the greatest personalities in the industry. And today we're going to discuss how Jennie has gone a long way from just another K-pop idol to a phenomenal artist with international influence. So, what are the winning strategies of Jennie Kim? Let's go. It's gonna be fucking hard. Actually, here I would say that it's not about the winning strategies for only Jennie as a K-pop idol or K-pop artist or just an artist, but actually I would say that it can be a very interesting study area for all musicians, I would say, because for me as a musician, it's a very interesting study. May I call it a study? I'm not very sure, but I would like to call it a study. It was like my little diary study, just some thoughts, some ideas, some emotions about that. And here I talk not only about some specific strategies like marketing strategy. I'm not a marketer, I'm not a PR or something. I'm just an average viewer, and this is not only for some marketers, or it's not for something like that, but it's just for some average people as well. And all the strategies that you can hear later, you can just use it in your life. We can just use it in our normal average lives, and all the strategies can be very helpful, and it's really worth listening in just normal typical relationships, in during the work time, in everywhere, just to succeed. So I would call it winning strategies, but also it can be called like succeeding strategies. Yeah, and it can be used not only for musicians, not only for the artists, but for any industry, any area, any kind of person with any kind of beliefs, because I think that it can be helpful in any kind of situation. So let's go. It's gonna be fucking hard. The 2025 Christmas period plus New Year time and the beginning of 2026, was all in Jennie's hands in social media. I'd say she just conquered it. The two most major awards in Korea, which is Melon Music Awards, MMA, and the GD Golden Disc Awards, were totally turning around Jennie's performances, where she gave totally new choreography and dance breaks, which led to a bunch of new TikToks with this new music remixes. And not only she slayed there on stage, but also she won in the nominations, such as I'll Tell You, like record of the year, top 10 artists, million top 10 with a Ruby album. And in the 14th anniversary of the Golden Disc Awards, she took Artist of the Year, Best Digital Song with Like Jennie, and Global Impact Award. My God, I also have seen on charts that she has won in the Billboard women in the music, something like that, and she took a Global Impact also, or how was it called? Okay, wait a sec. Global Force Award. Yeah, so she took the Global Force Award. Yeah, it's totally deserved. I congratulate her with all my heart. And for sure, all of this didn't come like that. We all remember how in the beginning of her career in Blackpink, she was called lazy on stage, like with some kind of restaurant bitch face, some poker face, or even say something on the brink of gentle and passive aggressive. She was called spoiled, YG's favorite. Oh my God, she started off with a lot of noise in the background. And the first winning strategy here that I noticed, for sure, I would like to remind that I'm not some PR or marketing expert. I just love to watch carefully and analyze, like as just an average viewer, listener. I'm a musician myself, so I would like to learn, from the greatest. So the first winning strategy, I would say, never explain. It's gonna be fucking hard. She just never commented on any kind of comments about her resting face or laziness on stage. Because when an artist starts to comment their actions, words, go into details, started arguing about like what's good or what's bad, it just ruins it all. Don't you think so? When someone called you like lazy shit, you just don't comment on it. Just don't notice it. The more you pause and focus on explaining why you're not lazy and you work freaking hard, the more reasons people find to refute it. For example, I still remember the resonant story about Sydney Sweeney, who was going live on Gram crying after reading comments where some people were calling her ugly. Like, in what universe Sydney Sweeney is an ugly person? We're not going to discuss, that because we just don't notice them haters. We can control them, but what we're capable to control is our reactions, right? Emotions give you insecurity. When your emotions are going over the top, your ratio is blurred and you stop being thoughtful and become chaotic. And chaos, opposite strategy and strategical and mindful thinking on a long run. So how, after all this, gram crying and all of this, how we might see Sydney Sweeney as after this situation? I would say she's emotional. She's got a lot of weight and influence on her shoulders. That's pretty hard to carry. I'd say she's got a fire in her heart, which is amazing for an actress, and she's an actress. And it needs more time, more experience, more wisdom to be handled. I'd say that she's open-hearted and fragile. But I would say that, and some people who know what reflection is, know what, deeper understanding is. But haters, what do them haters say? Haters say some unpleasant things. And what you can do about it? Nothing. So fuck them. Because all people who hate you, they don't hate the real you, but they hate first the image of you that they drew in their heads about you, and you can never control what they drew. And this image is only based on what they are focused on in their lives and how many lives people there are in the world. So this number equals to how many Jennies or Sydneys or Katrinas there are. And none of them is the real one. And the second, people are divided into two parts. They either hate something that they can't have and they are jealous of it, or they also have and they dislike it about themselves. So coming back to Jennie's case, Who don't want to be born like as a rich, spoiled child? If I would get to choose my next life, please, I would choose to be a spoiled little bitch in a rich family. Or what about her stage laziness? Almost second command was about it all the time, and there is actually a very interesting explanation to that. I heard that on the Zoe Unlimited channel, where she was talking on Jennie from the marketing point of view. Thank you, Zoe, very much. I love your channel so much. So I will leave a link. Go see the full video. It's very worth watching. So she said that the laziness was mostly about the differences between the character of Jennie and the character of the whole Blackpink band, because Blackpink as a group has archetype of girls next door, always happy, always bright, bright colors, and always like shiny mood. But Jennie's identity is different. Her own archetype is different. She's closer to magician or the leader. She's introverted and calm, and it takes a lot of energy to be part of something that you don't fully resonate with. You would ask me about her own shows and all these crazy dance breaks that we see like in her own shows right now, and you will totally understand why it's different when you watch this video. So we could find a lot of explanations to this and that, why is this, why is that, but Jennie never explained anything. And what even more interesting to me, like when she even said like a little comment about her face, it's just my face. So, quoting, literally. Or, I know I could disappoint some of my fans when I was like, when I was something. And it's a very Asian style of communication. I studied Japanese at university. I've been to Japan. I know Japan, Asian culture in general. So I know what I'm talking about. They never argue with you like spitting on your face. They will not, even if you're wrong, they will not tell about this either at all, or very, very patiently, calmly, without cursing you for that, for being wrong, because they even have something in their grammar, even in the grammar of the languages, and Japanese and Korean languages are very similar in grammar. They even in grammar have some points like I'm not sure, or maybe, so they even in grammar, who studied Japanese or Korean languages totally understand what I'm talking about. They have it like in the basics of their languages. Even if they are sure about something, they anyway are not totally sure, or they cannot show this full confidence, to the opponent, to the opponent speaker, because they are very polite and respect. So all the cultures have their own features, and speaking of Asians, they are taught from the cradle to become polite and patient, like whatever happens. And here we've come into a winning strategy number 2 that reshaped our image of Jennie from the beginning. If you decide to reply, do it calmly, carefully to the opponent with the respect and patience. It's gonna be fucking hard. So if we compare their reactions to the hatred, speaking about Sydney and Jennie's, we see that emotional instant response would give a perception of a slightly chaotic person, and not replying instantly, but thoughtfully and respectfully can give an opposite perception. This Asian mindset is 100% a great foundation of building something on a long distance, because we all know how hard Asian people work, and a lot of words have been said about this, especially speaking about Japanese people, but I guess the Korean people are very similar at this. And if we're speaking about the whole Asian culture, their mind structure is built this way. You study hard, you work hard, you value hierarchy, you humble, and there's more focus on consistency rather than creativity. There's more focus on the group's effort rather than one person's effort. And I totally 100% really recommend you to follow this, even just during some work relationships, or just relationship activities, being patient, patience always wins in the long run, all the time. So here we are coming to the third winning strategies of how Jennie became exceptional Korean artist who has now international recognition. Having your own vision. It's gonna be fucking hard. Always. Whatever box you're put into. And because inside of this box, you can fully understand who you are and who you are not. And, this is the most interesting part is here. When we speak about the Asian mindset where you must work hard, follow the directions, be humble, we also understand that girls and boys become trainees and go this way like for 4 to 7, sometimes even 10 years, and they need to study hard to follow the standards, but also have something special to stand out, but not too much because you're part of a group and you mustn't be too highlighted. You have a lot of musts and mustn'ts, and this way labels can really shape everything they wanna and present you any way they wanna, but a personality stays like a little on the background, and we mostly see that hard workers are chosen for the groups, right? But they don't write music, they don't write lyrics, don't create choreography, they only do their performances. Yeah, for example, the guys from the BTS, EXO, Twice, Stray Kids, New Jeans, NCT, Girls' Generations, Red Velvet. I've heard a lot of songs from them, but do I know them all by names? All members by names? I'm not really sure. And the only exception here, I would say, is the Mamamoo group. I'm huge stan for each girl, like Solar, Moonbul, Ween, Hwasa. They are, they are different. They have always been some kind of different K-pop girl group because they never fit into standards, or like they actually still sing Korean songs. But I guess probably the management of Mamamoo started the same thing with that was done with the Blackpink, because I see, for example, Hwasa is making her own music, and she was an ambassador of Adidas, if I'm not mistaken. She succeeds in her solo career as well. So what I mean by what management of Blackpink did, they have a strategy of soloing each member, like Jennie, Lisa, Rose, Jisoo. They all have have had their solo project now, but still tied up together with Blackpink. They still do music together, go touring together, and I guess both parties have benefits from this mutual commitment. And if, for example, other labels didn't offer solo activities to their members, but it was done to Blackpink members, why are we talking about Jennie now and not Lisa, Rosie, or Jisoo? That's a good question. I probably would like to record solo videos about all the girls because I'm such a huge fan of Lisa, and that's interesting what's going on in her career right now, in her solo career. Yeah, I have always been a fan of like Rosie's open heart and songs and songwriter. For me, as an aspirational songwriter, her songs are diamonds, and Jisoo's career is also going in a totally different direction, and it's working for her very well. So I'm happy for all members. They really find themselves, or on their way to find themselves. So that's a good question. Still a question. Why am I highlighting Jennie right now? Let me tell you this. I haven't been there, and I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but it feels like Jennie and Rosie took some more parts in Blackpink creation process, maybe some writing creation, or outfits, maybe something like that. I'm just fantasizing about this right now, and putting Jennie first to have a solo with the same name, solo, wasn't something unreasonable. You know what I mean? YG has the smartest people on their team, so I think I am 100% sure that they wouldn't do anything without the market research, without counting the benefits and stuff like that. So every move they made was very understandable with all solos, actually, not only Jennie's. And it was very reasonable for me why they put her first. And to be honest, Jennie doesn't only have her magnifying charisma, but also has a lot of backbone with her vision, with her own vision of how to sing, what to sing, even in Blackpink. I've always felt how she owns the lyrics. She owns the people, listeners around you, like around her, like when she is on stage. I still remember the first live I've heard and watched from them. It was Coachella 2019's Didadoo. She was given it all there. She just conquered and dropped the mic, She was very powerful. I guess she's really at her place, on stage. And I still remember at that time that I thought differently about her. Like, she's something more than just some K-pop idol. Yeah. And, with the full respect, I'm saying that because being a K-pop idol is already, excuse me, like, wow. Yeah. But there was something more in it. She is an international pop star, and her Ruby album is showing this totally, fully. This dark feminine energy, in a good way, atmosphere, is just flowing with her and has always been. Even if she didn't write the songs on this album herself, she picked something she liked. She had the vision. She offered something, changed something. She didn't say yes or no to everything. She just experimented in her own way. For example, Zan, I guess it was a total experimentation, and it worked like perfectly for her. And I also would like to say, I would say like forever about that. So if we started to speak about Blackpink, like what differentiates her from other Blackpink members that makes her be recognized in her home country in Korea, and at the same time, even Jennifer Lopez took the sample from like Jennie and was performing with the song on her shows. So here we are coming to the fourth winning strategy, which I call the power of wise combination and balancing between backgrounds. It's gonna be fucking hard. When I started to remember other South Korean artists who stood out and really like just come out to the international market, only two great artists and performance came up to my memory. It was CL and Jessi. Both of them are absolutely exceptional and game changers in K-pop community, no doubt. Correct me if I'm mistaken, but CL was the first K-pop idol ever to be noticed and to represent her own CL project on the international stage. Yeah, originally coming from the K-pop girl band 2NE1, and also Jessi, who has never been in any band. She debuted on her own as an individual idol, if I may say so. And I got to know her from the Unpretty Rap Star show on the Korean television. I'm myself a musician, a rapper. And at that time, I remember I was studying Asian culture and started to explore like Asian everything. And my way to K-pop started with this show. Unpretty Rap Star. I absolutely love Jessi there. She's really like relatable at some parts, sometimes very cringe, a little chaotic, very emotional, outgoing, with a little bit of bitch vibes. I adore characters like this. And after that, I fell in love with CL and her baddest female single. But why still we don't see Jessi, for example, like on the international stage so constantly, yeah? Or where's CL actually? I would also ask this question. I'm very I am expecting music from her like all the time. Why is Jennie constantly holding our attention, conquering the international stage and international market, and still is awarded in her home country? And I have an answer here. She is carrying her backgrounds very carefully, and she doesn't want to integrate Korean culture into American one, or the American one to the Korean. She doesn't merge with all these markets fully. She even writes lyrics very balanced lyrics, like in English and Korean together. And it's all from her background, which is like she was born in Korea, but also she studied, if I'm not mistaken, she studied in New Zealand, and so she learned something there. But also, so she felt like Korean, and after that she was a trainee in Korea. But also she took a lot from like European and American, English speaking music, if I may say so. So it's a great. So she has a great balance of all of it. But what about CL? What about Jessi? Jessi, if I'm not mistaken, Jessi was born in. I'm gonna be mistaken. Maybe she was born in like LA or New York, or tell me where she was born. I don't remember. So she was born in the United States, and after that she came to Korea. So she even was born with different genes, if you understand what I mean. And then with all this background, like American background, she came to Korea. So it's, it works differently and it influences our mind differently. And CL started in a girl band, so it's very similar to Jennie's situation. Yes, she started in Korea. She was a trainee in Korea, but after that she came to international. But what's different, CL, if I'm not mistaken, correct me, I'm very open to correct myself, but if I'm not mistaken, CL has never lived in the United States or any kind of English speaking country before popularity and before all the success that she got in 2021. So she has never had, like in the opposite with Jessi, for example, she has never had this background, this like English speaking background, English speaking community. She has never had it, and for sure she succeeded on the international. My god, CL, but still Jennie is balancing between these two worlds very carefully and very accurately. If you ask me to compare, I don't want to compare because they are all incomparable. I'm a fan of all of them, but if I had to compare, I'd say that Jessi is now more American style artist. She shaped herself in a very unique visual way, if you know what I mean. And maybe this might seem a little less relatable and probably distance her from people in her home country. Her personality has always been extraordinary, but it's not that humble woman that we are used to if we think about Asian women. And I'd say she's more of a like American mentality rather than Korea. With a full respect to her, I relate to her very much. And also she constantly creates music. I wish only the best to her. She probably just needs some hit like Nunu Nana, but even greater. A fun fact, I was thinking why I relate to Jessi so much, and I have always been such a fan. And actually I found out when I was preparing for this video, I found out that we were born on the same day. So, I don't know, it means something? Yes, totally. So if we speak about CL, she was the first one, guys. It's always hard to be the first one. She was just, breaking new ground for the artists, and no one before her did anything like that. She also left labels. She created her own label, if I'm also not mistaken. So she doesn't make new music, but I think speaking of success, she really succeeded. I think that she had her like peak points 100%. Being the first one, it's always like a hard job to do itself. Speaking about like Jennie, coming back to her, she's really given this balance, and her strategy, if we spoke about some marketing strategies, I think it's very balanced and structured. I guess it's like something about being everywhere at the same time, staying herself and staying honest to herself. And I would say that Zen is about that as well. So Zen has a lot of stuff inside of the song. So why do I speak about Zen? So when I speak about the greatest personalities here on this channel, I always try to mention some improvement points that can be done from my just a vision of a musician or just a vision of a listener of this music, a viewer of this YouTube videos, and speaking in general about Jennie's case and about Jennie's situation, I was thinking really hard, and now I'm thinking like, what improvements there can be done. I think that she has a lot in her plans, and the only thing that I wish her for now, by now, to keep it, to keep everything that she has, and to make the right decisions further, like to correct her mistakes if she had ones, and to go with the flow, with her intuition, with her vision, and just to keep it and go with the flow of her plans that she has made for the future, to surprise us all the time. She's going very slowly but very powerfully and thoughtfully. So please, Jennie Kim, if you're watching me, and I know you're watching me, please continue doing what you do. We all are rooting for you. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you liked it, or leave a comment if you didn't, and if you dislike or if you don't agree with some points. I will read it very carefully and will correct my mistakes further. And if you want to see me reviewing some other greatest personality, please also let me know in the comments, because we are speaking only about the greatest personalities here, and anyone could become the greatest. So thank you very much. It was Katrina. Love you. Katrina's rhyming again.